Hi, welcome to another edition of Mindscape Matters. I'm happy to see you here. I am Mohan. I am a consultant psychiatrist based in Chennai, and I'll be your guide as we explore this wonderful mindscape. Now, between men and women, whom do you think is closer to their emotions? That is, who is more emotionally intelligent? When I say emotionally intelligent, I'm talking about being aware of one's own emotion and also being aware of the emotions of people around you. Take some time to answer. Now, if you answered women, congrats, you are right. Women are more closer to their emotion than men. Women are more emotionally intelligent. This has been established for many years. Now, let's find out what are the reasons why women are more emotionally intelligent. There are many theories, many explanations. One of the commonest explanation is an anthropological explanation that men were mainly hunter-gatherers. We are talking about thousands of years ago. Men were going out to hunt and gather, and their main purpose was to bring stuff home. Whereas women were nurturers. They were taking care of young kids. They were taking care of the elderly and the sick people. And since they were nurturing most of the time, they were sensitive to subtle emotional changes in the children or the elderly or the sick. And over many generations, their emotional intelligence became more. This is one explanation. I want to today talk about one another factor, that is, boys don't cry. Now, I'm not referring to the movie or the song by that name. I am referring to the statement that people make when a young boy cries. A young boy cries and somebody in the family, it could be father, grandfather, cousin, somebody says, "Hey, boys don't cry," or "Why are you crying like a girl? Are you a sissy?" Now, this message is repeated by many relatives, or when they are playing, a boy falls down, injures his knee, starts crying, and his peers tell, "Hey, you are crying like a girl." So this is constantly told to a boy that boys don't cry, and it's deeply ingrained. At that age, children are fiercely proud of their gender. And if you tell a boy you are like a girl, or if you tell a girl you are like a boy, they don't like it. So they will want to establish, the boy will want to establish, I am a boy. And if everybody says boys don't cry, let me also not cry. So gradually, by listening to this boys don't cry, what happens is the boy learns to suppress his crying. Now, all of you know that crying is related to pain, physical pain or emotional pain, sadness. And when you suppress crying, you also suppress the emotions associated, that is depression. And over a period, boys learn to suppress sadness, and many of the time they deny it. And when you suppress one emotion, it doesn't stop there. There is a whole range of emotions, and when you suppress selectively one emotion, it definitely impacts other emotions. Experience of those emotions and also expression of emotions. All of them get impacted. So much so, by the time the boy becomes a man, he is far away from his emotions. A typical scenario in many households will be like, man will be on the computer, the wife would be crying. And the man says, "What is the problem?" She says, "Nothing." And he says, "Oh, nothing." And he goes back to his computer and does whatever he was doing. 5 minutes later, again he could hear her crying. And he will say, "What is the problem?" And she says, "I told you nothing." And he says, "Oh, nothing." And he continues to work on the computer. Half an hour later, she is crying profusely. And our man has no idea why she's crying. And he says, "Why are you crying?" And she says, "I have been crying and you are not even sensitive. You are just working on the computer." And he says, "I asked you. I asked you what is the problem. If you had told me the problem, I would have solved it for you. And she would say, who wants your solution? I just want you to be sensitive to me. I just want you to know I'm upset. Now, our man has no idea why she was upset, because far away from emotions, we men will understand only cognition. That they need to be told, I'm upset about this. They will not. This is a common occurrence in most families. When a patient comes to me, one of the commonest questions I ask is, how are you feeling today? Or how have you been feeling in the last 1 week? Now, women will give me precise answers. They will talk about emotions. They will substantiate it by giving me anecdotes. Whereas most men, some men will be very precise, but most men will say, I feel different. In Tamil, they use this term, oru maadhiri irukku. It means like I feel different. Then I will say, what exactly do you feel? And I need to play 20 questions to come to that emotion. I need to ask, are you fearful? Are you sad? And one thing that I notice in men is, when you ask them, are you sad? Most of them will say, no, not sad. But if you flip the question and ask, are you able to be happy? Then they think and say, no, I'm not able to be happy. So this comes from boys don't cry. That sadness is, they're not lying, but they've been suppressing sadness and use this mechanism called denial, that I deny that I'm sad. This is something really sad. Being a male, I too was like a rock. I will not be moved whatever histories my patients tell me. It could be horrible stories, sad stories, but nothing would move me emotionally. I used to be cold, and I thought that was my strength. I was using my cognition, my thinking power to analyze their problem and give them solutions. And I really thought being a rock was my strength. It took a long time to realize, no, that's not my strength. My strength lies in being vulnerable to my emotions and being closer to my emotions. It took a long time to reach there, and I had a couple of hard knocks also to reach there. While I was a rock, I had some close friends who would cry at the drop of the hat. And I used to tell them, amazing, teach me how to cry. Now, gradually, I could graduate into that crying league. Now, when somebody tells me a history which is sad, that moves me. I cry when I watch movies. I cry when I listen to a lyrics in a song. And I'm not ashamed to say this. I'm proud to say this. But it takes a long time to reach this point. Now, my request to you is, please teach your children how to cry. I'm using the word children. I didn't differentiate boys and girls, because please do not say boys don't cry. I think boys also need to cry. Don't suppress their emotions. Now, I said teach your children how to cry. Now, you'll be asking, is there a class for these? No, there are no classes. How do you then teach them? Your children learn by looking at you. So when you are exposed to a situation where it is a sad situation, don't control yourself. Cry if you feel like crying in front of your child. Now your child will learn it's okay to cry when the situation is sad, and they will also learn that after you finish crying, you go ahead and do something about what caused the crying in the first place. That's the lesson that you can give. And my request once again is, please do not use the phrase, boys don't cry. Thank you for watching this video. And if you like this, please share with a couple of your friends who might benefit. And if you want further videos on this, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Stay tuned, because Mindscape matters.